Hi, everybody. Good evening. It is Dr. Mary Claire Haver, and I am for those of you who don't know me, I am a board certified OBGYN and the creator and founder of the Galveston Diet. So excited to have some of you guys on here with me tonight. I want to take a hot second and talk about the TikTok I just made, which was a little reenactment of why and how I created the Galveston Diet, and also answer any questions that you might have about the program. So for those of you who jump on, hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver. I am in bed, TikToking from bed, my favorite place. And I've got my cream in my hair, my moisturizer on. This is the real me, no makeup. So, but I'm here on tonight to talk about why an OB-GYN, me, who had a very successful practice, would create a diet. It was certainly not on my radar. I had, at the time, no special training in nutrition, or I'd always been interested in nutrition, but literally just doing the day-to-day duties of OB-GYN, delivering babies, pap smears, medication, follow-ups, night call, babies coming at all hours, emergency surgeries, etc., sucked, and trying to stay married and be a mom and all the things. There was no time for much of anything else. So I started noticing, so when I was younger, my patients were younger, and my patients kind of grew up with me. So when I was having babies, they were having babies, and so I had some older, some younger, but I started noticing this consistent pattern of women in their late 30s, mostly starting late 30s, definitely in their 40s, with a probably, not I want to say universal complaint, but I want to say 80 to 90% complaint of weight gain that they could not explain. They were gaining weight in places they never had it before, and it was bothering the heck out of them. And all I was taught in med school and residency was calories in and calories out. Okay. And that works for a lot of people, especially when they're younger. And it had worked for me for a long time. You go to the gym, you work out more, you count your calories, you basically starve yourself a little bit. You deprive yourself of X, Y, and Z, and boom, the weight comes off. So I didn't really know much about the fad diets. I didn't take the time to look into those. I had patients who had been fairly successful on Weight Watchers and had lost weight on different fads, keto and South Beach and different Sugar Busters was a big thing for a while. Paleo got real big right before I left practice. So they would lose some weight, but then it would just come right back on. But, almost this universal complaint of, hey, I'm doing everything the same. I haven't changed anything different. And I am gaining weight and I cannot figure out why. And it was this frustration. So I would tell them what I was taught to say, which is embarrassing to me now, but literally, if your doctor is telling you this now, don't get too mad at them, because I put myself back in school. I went back and basically got a master's degree in nutrition. And it took me on my own dime, on my own time, to go back to school and learn more about nutrition and inflammation and all the things. So I'll take you through the story. So I'm starting to notice a pattern with my patients. I keep giving them the same advice. They're coming back year after year and saying, I've gained 3 more pounds, I've gained 5 more pounds. And I'm just like, you just need to work a little harder. We really start taking shortcuts we don't notice. I mean, I'm hearing myself say these things and I'm cringy. It's so cringy to me to hear, basically I'm kind of accusing them of not really counting their calories the right way and not really not really counting how much exercise they're doing. And they're looking at me like I'm an idiot, because they're like, I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the truth. So fast forward to where I was about 45, and those of you who follow me and know me, I've had a lot of tragedy in the last 6 years in my personal family. I lost a brother to liver failure, my brother Bob. I lost my brother Jude in July of last year, and my dad passed away from old age stuff. Daddy had a long life and a good life, but, still hard. But like my brothers, I've lost 3 brothers. I lost one when I was 9. So brothers number 2 and 3 that died were tough, because they should be here. And I am almost as old as Bob when he died, and it's really scary to me. So anyway, so Bob gets really sick and then dies, and I just kind of lose it. Like I thought we had more time. I didn't do all the things like in my mind I was going to do, like say all the things and have closure and do all these things. And I was really depressed, and I was just still had to go to work. You don't get bereavement. You get to go to a funeral. They don't give you time off to grieve and all these things. So I was like a zombie at work and coming home and just filling myself with empty carbohydrates, and I was drinking too much wine. And so at the end of that process, I found myself 15, 20 pounds over my happy weight, like boom. And I was wearing scrubs every day. They're forgiving. I basically stopped wearing clothes, and I wasn't working out. My nutrition and exercise just went out the window. So then when the grief lifted and I was like, okay, time to get your life back, I did all, and I was also going through menopause. Okay. Perimenopause was hitting me hard. So that reminds me, I need to put my patch on. Go for a walk. Let me go get my patch so I don't forget it. So I started going to the gym, working out again, started counting calories. It worked a little bit. I'd lose a pound or two and come right back on as we walk into the kitchen. My kids are watching The Conjuring upstairs. I'm so scared of scary movies. There's no way I'm going to watch that with them. So if you hear some screams, it's them. Nothing's happening in my house. So here are my patches. Everybody wants to know, yes, I'm on HRT. This is my choice that I decided. Combi patch with me and my doctor. But okay, back to the story. So I would lose a couple pounds. Then I'd be like, okay, Haber, you're not working hard enough. I was doubling down at the gym. I started severely calorically restricting. This was going on for months, okay? And I was in this like crazy headspace of you're negative self-talk. You're not working hard enough. You're fat. You're doing all this stuff. When I think of how cruel I was to myself, it's unbelievable. I gotta put these back. Okay, so let's go back in my bedroom. Here's my combi patch. Yay. So I got obsessed. I was getting up in the middle of the night to pee, and I'd weigh myself. I mean, that's crazy. So my husband was working overseas. My husband works overseas a lot, as you guys know, if you follow me. And he was going on a big trip. So when my husband goes on a trip, he goes for weeks because he works so far away. And I said, when you get back, you're going to have the wife you deserve. I said those words. Crazy person. And he said, honey, I have the wife I deserve. I love you. I don't care what size you are, but this is affecting your brain. It's affecting the kids. You're obsessed. You won't go to parties. You won't do all the fun things. He's like, you're a scientist. Figure this out. If working out and eating, you're starving yourself and you're working out like a fiend and it's not working. So go figure it out. And I was like, ding, light bulb in my head. And I said, okay. So I started talking to, I have a few registered dietitian friends, like they're like PhD nutrition scientists, okay, and they're registered dietitians too. I have a little group that was working with at the university. I delivered their babies, and we were all friends, and I had actually talked to them about getting a master's in nutrition because I was interested in it. Hadn't done it yet though, and I was like, "What's going on in menopause?" Like, all my patients are complaining of this. I'm complaining of this. The book says that weight gain happens, but nobody's talking about really why. I mean, they think, yeah, it's hormone changes. Yeah, it's aging. Yeah, it's this. But like what's the pathophysiology behind it? What's happening on a cellular level? Like why is this so hard? Why have all the things that we did in the past, worked great and now is not working? And they were like, we don't do studies on that. And at my university at the time, they did studies on astronauts, on the elderly, on kids. So threw a bunch of articles at me, and I just started reading. I went down rabbit hole of research after rabbit hole of research. I threw all the fads out of the window, and I just went for the science. And so I got really excited about inflammation. and anti-inflammation, and that I was really sad that no one had ever talked to me about that before and how much sense it made. And so I started connecting the dots between menopause and aging and inflammation and how nutrition can play a part in this. We can't change the fact that we're going through menopause. It's a thing, okay? You can do hormone replacement or not. That's a whole different discussion. But again, your ovaries are dying. You're not going to bring them back to life. We can artificially pretend we have ovaries with HRT, but they are dying, regardless of if you take HRT or not. You are aging. You're not getting any younger. You are getting older, and so, but how, and what exactly that entails. So the more research I did, the more excited I get, the more a plan started formulating in my mind. I got really, really excited. I'm 53. Please give me your age. I'm not 28. There might be a filter on. Look at me real good. This is gray hair up here. See that? I dye it. I'm sorry. I'm 52. I will be 53 in 3 weeks. So I'm 53. So I got really excited about intermittent fasting, the data from Mark Mattson from the National Institutes of Health. This is a PhD scientist who really opened the world of IF to the fight against neurodegenerative disease, so Alzheimer's and dementia. So he's like a world-renowned scientist, and he did studies on fasted mice. These were animal studies on Alzheimer and dementia models, and how in the fasted state their neurocognitive abilities were better. And so they started suggesting it in patient care, and it's pretty simple. It's not starving at all. They just started increasing fasting times that were safe for these dementia patients, and they had marked improvement. So I was like, oh my God. And so he broke it down to a cellular level of how overall decreased inflammation on a systemic level goes down, but really in the brain quite a bit. So also your brain kind of works more efficiently and faster when it's burning fat for fuel when you're fasted. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay, because I thought fasting was a fad. I read Jason Fung's stuff a little bit, Obesity Code. I mean, it's a good book. But I was like, this really isn't like fulfilling me as a woman, so, and a menopausal woman. So then I was like, okay. So then I looked at anti-inflammatory nutrition, like this stuff they didn't teach us in school. It was kind of like, healthy when you see it, literally, like it's like porn, you know it when you see it. No one was like, this is healthy, this is not, and why? Like this causes inflammation, this fights inflammation. Basically anything that's healthy or not healthy promotes or fights inflammation. That's it. There's just a few foods that are neutral. But almost everything we can put in our body will either has components in it that will fight inflammation or components in it that will cause inflammation. So if you guys have questions, just put them in the box down below and I will try to get to them. So, and then the final thing was fuel refocusing. I knew that there was a mental component. Like when I went through my depression when my brother died, I hit carbohydrates hard, like the comfort foods. And for me, it was salty is my thing. Sweet, I like sweet now and then, but salty is my thing. You put a can of potato chips, Pringles, OMG, that was my kryptonite. And so, and the goldfish, though I do like a Pop-Tart from time to time. Completely non-nutritive, horrible substances that I just was living on to ease my grief. And, when I think about what it did to my body long term, I'm like, wasn't worth that little burst of sweetness. So I put it all together. This was all selfish. This was for me. This was not for my patients. This was just me trying to fix me. And I wrote out my little plan and I made a little time guide and I started doing it. So the first thing I did was incorporate fasting, but I got some good advice from the scientists. Don't try to go jump into fasting overnight. Give yourself 5 to 6 weeks to become proficient at intermittent fasting. Some people can do it within a week, but most people, to do it right to where you become fast adapted and where you are not suffering from the side effects of jumping into fasting too fast, you really need to take your time to do it. So it took me weeks to become fast adapted. I pushed out my eating window by minutes. So I would set a goal, like I used to get up in the morning and make my coffee and put a bunch of shit in it, like milk and chemicals and flavors and whatever. And And then that's how I broke my fast, because that stuff had calories. And then I'd eat immediately after that. I'd have my coffee and then I'd eat. I'd eat something, cereal or yogurt or something that ended up being simple carbohydrates with extra sugar added. Just ridiculous. So so I started pushing out. I didn't change my diet. I just started pushing out my window. So then I'd wait till 6:30. First, no, I'm lying. First thing I did was learn how to drink black coffee. That took 2 weeks, okay? That was the biggest mental hurdle I had to do. Like, I swore from God above I would never drink black coffee. I traveled with Equal in a Ziploc, because Equal was my sweetener of choice, in a Ziploc, in case anywhere I went didn't have it. So I learned to buy good quality coffee, so I didn't have to dump a bunch of stuff in it. And I buy naturally flavored coffees. So I'll have cinnamon flavors. There's some orange flavor. There's coconut. There's all kind of awesome stuff out there, all natural flavor. So, and just kind of suffering through it for the first 2 weeks until I just got used to it. And then it was good. And then I started craving it. And then I don't even want, like, it's been years now, but I can't even imagine putting anything in my coffee. My black coffee is so good. So for those of you who are black coffee drinkers, you can just cross that box. You're done. So that was like 2 weeks. So then I started pushing out my eating window by 30 minutes. So I did, 30 minutes for 3 or 4 days. So I do 6:30 in the morning, 3 or 4 days. And that felt good and normal and thing. Then I do 7 for 3, 4, 5 days. And then I did 8. And I just did it slowly over time. And I can remember sitting at my desk at work. And I had, at that point, I got into the habit of packing my lunch every day. I never ordered out. Like, my staff would order fast food or whatever. Nope, I brought my lunch every day. I'd sit in the break room with them and eat. And some of them brought their lunch, but, I just was very consistent. So I remember sitting at my desk and, like, ding, it was noon. And I was like, oh, I'm an intermittent faster. I made it to noon, because my personal fasting window is about noon to 8 p.m. I usually finish eating before 7. We eat really early at our home. So, but the beauty of intermittent fasting is you can pick your window, whatever works for you, as long as you're fairly consistent with it. And if you miss an hour here or there, it's fine. It's fine. This is the rest of your life. You don't have to be perfect every day. And because you miss an hour here or there doesn't mean you screwed it all up and you can't do it. So it's just, you just have to be kind to yourself, but set goals. So then once I became fast adapted, then I really took a hard look at the quality of my nutrition. And as far as if things were inflammatory or not. And if you are confused as to whether or not your nutritional choices are inflammatory or not, take the anti-inflammation quiz. How? Go up here, click on my phone, it's up here, the little Galveston Diet picture. There's a link at the top, it's bolded, and when you click on that, you'll see the inflammation quiz. You can take the quiz there, and it just might blow your mind as to what your score is going to be. Okay, so then finally, it was the mental part of it, the fuel refocusing, learning how to refocus my thoughts around micro and macronutrients, learning how to break the addiction to counting calories. That was huge. So in the Galveston Diet, we don't count calories. We count nutrients. We look at our micronutrients and our macronutrients. We look at omega-3 fatty acids. We look at fiber. We look at all the things that keep you healthy, and just kind of trust that if we eat intuitively and listen to our bodies, we will have plenty of calories. If we're not eating empty calories that are driving cortisol levels, that are driving your insulin levels, that are making you more hungry when you shouldn't be. Because that's what the empty calories and things are doing. And when you're just counting calories, you're missing nutrition. It's huge. So if you want to learn more about Galveston Diet, also click that link up there, and there's all kind of information about the program. Our website has videos, blogs, recipes, all kind of sample stuff, a meal plan for you to look at, whatever. Okay. Yes. So you can still eat I'm looking at the questions. You can still eat too many calories in your eating window. Yes, you can. So intermittent fasting, if you just do that alone, some people lose a ton of weight, but most people, the weight loss is modest. It's not it's not a good weight loss plan. Okay. It's a great anti-inflammation plan, but you can eat a ton of calories, and you can also eat a ton of crap in your window. Okay. So that's why it works synergistically with anti-inflammatory nutrition and fuel refocusing. You got to do all three. Okay, now we ease you in the program, we ease you into each step by step, but then you're humming with all three by the time, and it's working synergistically. It's pretty amazing. I'm down 13 pounds and 9 inches since July 4th. Woohoo! Awesome. Love that. Omega-3s contraindicated with Xarelto. So if you're under a physician's care for a prescription medication like Xarelto for weight loss, you need to get permission from them for whatever nutrition plan you should be on or be working with a registered dietitian. Omega-3s, I don't know much about Xarelto, so I really can't comment on that. You should ask your doctor. Yay, Julia 108, she's down 13 pounds and 9 inches since July 4th. That is fantastic. Yay. I'm so happy. Julia, did you do boot camp or were you able to do the self-study and do it on your own? Just curious. Tell me in the comments. How do I join the program? I'm Computer Smart. So we have, you just go up here to the link, or you can just Google Galveston Diet. It's easy. The link will take you to my page, and you'll see my picture and my really glamorous picture, by the way, which I rarely look like that. I had hair and makeup and all that, but this is the real me. Picture and then some info about me, and then the link. The link will have the quiz, the program, lots of information there. She did do boot camp. Okay, great. I love the feedback. So I'm glad that you loved boot camp. Our next boot camp starts Sunday. No. The 1st, August 1st. August 1st starts our next boot camp, and there are still a few spots if you want to grab one. That's going to be the Platinum program, or if you've already joined, then you can upgrade to Platinum or just buy the coaching group. That's fine. Anyway, let's see. Which app do I use to track my nutrition? My personal favorite, though others work, is Chronometer, because it's a better nutrition app. It has better database for my micronutrients, which is pretty much all I look at now. So most of the apps developed were for counting calories or counting our keto kind of versions for counting macros. It doesn't make them bad programs, but I just really like the integrity of the Chronometer database, and it's Chronometer. Once you learn how to use it, it's super easy, and there's some YouTube videos to help you, and it's free. So I have, of course, upgraded, and they love me because I talk about them and people go and download the app. But they want to partner with us, which is pretty cool, where we'll have our own landing page, and it'll just, and the interface will be kind of easier for Galveston dieters, but we haven't formalized that yet. There's a lot of stuff going on with us. I'm writing a book. Do I ever have things like birthday cake? Sure, once in a while. I mean, but I don't love cake, so it's not like I feel like I'm missing anything. More likely on my birthday, I would have something like a chocolate martini if I wanted something sweet. I'd have a cocktail that was sweet, that I wouldn't have cake. But that's just me. I'm not a big cake eater. My kids are. But I'm a human being. I have good days, I have bad days, but I started this 50-day challenge, right? It's over my birthday. So there will be no alcohol for Mary Claire because I'm leading. We have 1,500 or 1,600 people now in our Galveston 50 challenge. It's kind of like 75 hard, but it's for Galveston dieters and whatever, but no alcohol is part of it. And so, yeah, guess who scheduled a dry period over her birthday? Me. So no chocolate martini for me. So maybe I will have a little piece of cake. Let's see. My friends know, for my birthday, they'll bring me a charcuterie board or which is what I love, or a fruit thing. Like my staff, when I left the hospital in the last shift, they gave me one of those giant fruit edible arrangements, and it did have some chocolate dipped strawberries, which were great. But they knew, don't get her a cake because she won't eat it. But anyway, that's funny. Thanks for asking that. What's the difference between Galveston diet, Mediterranean, and vegan? Okay, so I have read extensively about Mediterranean diet, and we are very similar to Mediterranean, except Mediterranean is a lot of feta. It's Mediterranean. And when I went to Greece, I realized why they call the Mediterranean diet, because they all eat like that exactly all day, every day. Tons of fish, tons of feta, fermented cheese, and so as far as the principles of Mediterranean, the anti-inflammatory principles, we got it. But they are, it's a specific eating pattern that's kind of what people eat in that area, and so a lot of Americans will not eat like that. So as far as like personal preferences, we're a little bit different, but the nutritional principles are very, very similar. Vegan is no meat, no plant only. So no cheese, no eggs, no dairy, so different than vegetarian. So we're very different than vegan, though we do have vegans on our program. So remember, we're not restrictive. And so Galveston diet is not restrictive. The only thing I really want you to restrict is high fructose corn syrup would be the biggest thing. And if you want meat, you can have it. We give you nutritious ways to enjoy meat. We give you nutritious ways to enjoy dairy if you choose to do so. But if you don't, you still can do the program, because we are more about education. I'm here to teach you the science, the principles, so that when you go forth in the world to make those choices, you have the education and knowledge behind you to make the informed choice, okay? I can just give you meal plans and you'll lose weight, but you won't learn anything. I haven't changed your life. I haven't built new habits. I haven't done anything for you other than help you get into a cute outfit for an event. And if that's what you want, that's fine. But there's tons of programs that can do that for you. But if you want to change your life and live a healthier life as you age, come to me. That's what I'm here for. You cannot increase your estrogen naturally in menopause. There's almost nothing you can do. So I am actually going to apply this patch here. I have chosen, based on my needs, my family history, my health issues, this is my combi patch. I need to put it on when I'm done talking. I utilize HRT. It's a very personal choice. That's a conversation between you and your doctor, not between me and you, okay? I'm not here to be your personal physician. I'm just a nutrition coach. But I can talk about things like I'm your friend and give you general advice, but I cannot give you specific advice. But you cannot increase your estrogen in menopause outside of taking exogenous estrogen. I don't give you a recommended time to start to fast, okay? That you have to look at your life, your schedule. We have teachers, we have nurses, we have shift workers, we have lots of people who have to work. We have people who enjoy having breakfast with their family in the morning. We have people who want to have a late dinner with their family. So it's all about, that's the beauty of it. It's so flexible. What time period where is your 8-hour window of eating going to work the best for you consistently from day to day? So if any of you people are jumping in, I am Dr. Mary Claire Haver. I'm the creator and founder of the Galveston Diet, and I did a whole big talk about how I started the Galveston Diet program and why I started the Galveston Diet program. You missed all that, and now I'm answering questions. What is driving cortisol levels? That is a great question. So there are definitely foods that have been studied that can elevate cortisol levels. So anything, but it's mostly cortisol is elevated from an emotional state. And so it's our fight or flight syndrome. It makes cortisol go up, which it's a quick release of glucose so your body can fight off, have energy to deal with predators or whatever. These were things that developed when we were cave people for survival instincts. And now that we don't have those kind of stimuli, we don't have saber-toothed tigers chasing us, but we have stress, chronic stress in our lives. So we're constantly stimulating cortisol release through our stressful lives, where we were only meant to have stress now and then, and cortisol would get released in a burst so that we could deal with whatever little thing was on the horizon, and then it would be over with. But unfortunately, we have programmed ourselves as humans now to be stressed out all the time, and this chronic cortisol level goes up, and it just wreaks havoc in our system. Which is why in the Galveston 50 Challenge, we have incorporated meditation and journaling to try to bring those cortisol levels down, and exercise. Oh, where's the inflammatory questionnaire? Okay, so if you, let me see. Let me go to my TikTok. Okay. No. So if you go up here to this little link and you click on that, Instagram, and you click on that, it will give you my picture and some stuff, and then a bolded link. Click on that and it'll say bit.ly GD link in bio, something like that. So let me flip this guy around. Okay, so here it is on Instagram. Here's the link. Okay, on my Instagram. Look at my pretty picture. Wow, I never look like that. Okay, so when you click on it, on your phones, it'll be longitudinal, but you'll get signature program. And then here is this little box that says anti-inflammation quiz. You click on that, and then you say, it tells you about the quiz, and here's the scoring system. It says get started, and it will take you one by one through a questionnaire. How much alcohol did you consume in the last 24 hours? None. How many servings of whole fruit did you have? I had an apple. How many servings of whole grains did you have? I had 1 serving of whole wheat crackers. Leafy vegetables, I had more than 1 serving. So, and then it goes on and on and on, okay? It's a really fun quiz. It'll give you a score, and at the end, you can see what your inflammation score is. And you can take it every day because you can improve that score. If you've taken it, I want to know what your score is. Let me know down below. It's kind of fun. Okay, going back to the questions. Oh my God, all exercise. Almost all exercise. I've heard HIIT training, swimming, tennis. Ladies, go to the gym and work out. You can have a very short-term rise in cortisol after intense exercise. However, over 24 hours, your overall cortisol levels will be lower. I promise. All the studies show that. Stop listening to the gym rats, the 25-year-old bro dudes who are trying to tell you not to do this exercise and that exercise. Work out. You need to do resistance training and cardio. Mix it up. Stretch, so important, and I'm trying to be better about that. Stretching and balance, all very important. All very important, okay? Work out. Oh, God. If I had $1 for every time somebody asked me about magnesium. So this is a tough one, and I have a few TikToks about magnesium, but here's the bottom line. You need to first try to get your magnesium through food. Okay, you should get your base, your recommended daily intake through food. The end. Look for magnesium-rich foods first. Magnesium can also be medicinal and super physiologic doses. Okay, so you need to get out of the deficiency state with food. Then you can take a supplement. For example, I take Neuromag because it helps with sleep. Okay, for me. It also, my daughter takes it because she grinds her teeth from her ADHD medicine, so it helps relax the jaw. Other magnesium is used for different things. Okay, there's gastrointestinal types of, there's about 10 different forms of, so there's magnesium glycate, magnesium citrate, magnesium L-threonate, which is the Neuromag. There's multiple types, and it depends on what you're treating. So it's not something you can just go willy-nilly and buy whatever magnesium. My daughter read that the magnesium would help her jaw, and she bought magnesium citrate, and I said, baby, that's going to give you diarrhea. What? I go, magnesium citrate is what they use to incur diarrhea for patients who are having colonoscopy. I'm like, that stays in your gut. It's not well absorbed. So some magnesium stays in the gastrointestinal tract, not well absorbed. Some is very well absorbed, but it doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier. Some is very good at crossing the blood-brain barrier. So you need to talk to your doctor. What are you trying to treat? And then you take the proper supplement for that. Okay. I have a TikTok on this, on foods for anxiety. There are foods that lower anxiety, have been shown to lower omega-3 fatty acids, or one. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids. And I think magnesium is another one. I have to go look it up again. But I have a TikTok on that. If you're having a radical hysterectomy, there's cancer involved, so you need to talk to your oncologist about HRT or not. I can't comment on that. Oh, thank you for saying thank you. You're so welcome. I I'm so glad somebody out there is listening and appreciating what I'm doing. Have sex. People get pregnant with fibroids all the time. Or see a fertility specialist. I'm not trying to make fun of you, but people get pregnant with fibroids all the time. Chronometer does not have the Galveston Diet supplements listed. I just loaded them myself, and then they're on my personal food list. So when I go log in, I just type in GAL and they pop right up. Actually, they're in my memory. So in Chronometer, when I go to put in my stuff, they're just there. It's easy. So just put them in one time. So that's a great question. Because I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, I was on birth control pills for a very long time. And then at late 50s, I started kind of coming off of them, or I was on purpose kind of weaning off because I figured I was in menopause. And then then my brother died and I kind of forgot to take them. I wasn't worried about getting pregnant at that point. And then the hot flashes and the mood swings and all this stuff. So I didn't have that long of a time period off. So I technically just had a few months and then I went right on HRT. But when I started HRT, I was fully in menopause. But it had been masked, by the birth control pills for months, probably, or years. Therapy, honey. With a traumatic past, get over it. I have a traumatic past. Therapy. Find a good therapist. And a supportive group, and stay the fuck away from people who hurt you. It's the best thing I can say. Boundaries. Thank you so much. We've learned so much. Aw. The most important thing that you do is the fasting. So if you fast for 16, then eat for 10, then fast for 16, you're jumping your windows around, but that will work. It's the 16-hour fasting window that's the magic. Habit. It's, Galveston Diet is all about building habits, building a new framework for your life. So I highly recommend that you try to pick a window, the same window every day, just because it just becomes ingrained and easier. Okay, go into the question box. You don't technically, I'm just a coach. Sorry, I'm laying down, I'm getting tired. You don't technically have to fast to do Galveston Diet, but why not? You could just start small, start slow. Just start pushing that little window out over weeks. Don't try to fast tomorrow. It's not going to work. And trust me, just give it a try. Just push that little window out 30 minutes. Just go 30 minutes. Oh, you took the quiz and you got a -2. That means you've got a lot of room for improvement. That's awesome. 55 and still having your period. That's still normal. 55 is the end of normal though. So if you're 56 and still having periods, it's time to go see your doctor. Let's see. What would be the equivalent in vegetables for 30 grams of fiber? Well, it depends. Some things are higher in fiber than others. Artichokes are a lot higher than broccoli. That's an easy Google search, like foods high in fiber. Start there. Okay, guys, I'm getting tired. I had an awesome time talking to you tonight. I am going to hang up. And I'm getting tired. I'm saying stupid stuff. Awesome time. If you want to learn more about the Galveston Diet, click on our link up here. Take our quiz, inflammation quiz. And I'll be back on again tomorrow. Take care.